we're doing today, we want to do a simple registration form. I will show you two approaches. Okay, so there will be two approaches to this. So the first one is using the naive way. So the naive is just like a simple stuff which is static actually, though we call it static. And another one we have to kind of, okay, should I call it dynamic? No problem. So we have to kind of connect to, not to a database now guys, so we don't connect it to a spreadsheet, so we can actually have the data saved. Okay, so that is what we plan doing. So we try to connect it to a spreadsheet. So for now I will just run a static, a simple stuff, which a dummy form which does nothing. Okay, so let's do something here. We get back to this, and I'm going to show you a couple of things here. Okay, I think let's start with this. So if you look at this, it's very simple. Okay, we just created, I believe till here, this is, many of you knows what we've done so far. We imported everything in tkinter, then finally created the entry window, then set the dimension to be of some value. Now go down and what, kept the window open so that it won't just close. Okay, now after that, you see pretty much the only thing you may not understand is the use of this, right, string variable. Okay, so now let's look at this first. Okay, so first thing, you know definitely this is a function. This is a function that will say something. You've submitted a form or something like that. So let's just run this. If you see here, you notice something here. Let's not do anything actually. Let's not do anything. Let's just click submit. It went. Actually, some message will be printed saying form submitted successfully. Okay, but you know what I want you to do, right? That I didn't want you to 1 minute. I didn't want you to print this here. I have shown you how to do it, right? You should print it in line. Okay, because nobody wants to keep checking and be seeing your console. Okay, fine. Now we go back here and then we try entering something. It's not validated at all. Let me just enter anything. Okay, no email, nothing, just some dummy stuff. Submit. It says form submitted successfully. So what have we done? Where is the form? Okay, so you submitted the form. Okay, can I see the form? Right, so where is the form? Simply just messing around and telling us, okay, fine, I have submitted it. So one thing I need to explain briefly before we continue is, so we need to tell the user, like all these ones, you know, right? So we have used grid in position of in place of what, pack method. Okay, and we are telling it where we want it to be. So basically you can see here, right? So this is I keep it side by side guys, up with this. So let me show you here like what this string variable is. So I need to tell the user, right, okay, whatever this person is going to enter here is an integer, sorry, it's a string type, apart from this last one, okay, which can be an integer variable. And these are kind of global variables actually. Okay, because we have to reference it in here. Okay, what are the variable type we want to use? Okay, so text variable is what, name variable, and then branch variable and some stuff. So for now, don't worry so much about this. Okay, because this is as dummy as anything we can think of. Now having said that, let's try to see how far we can go creating our futuristic form. So one thing we should know is that this form should be able to talk to what, a spreadsheet file, right? Okay, so for that, let's start a new stuff. Okay, I've actually created a couple of things here. So we start a new one, a new project. So for that, let me call it say form registration form with Excel backup. Fine. All right, so form with Excel backup. We needed a couple of things here, right? So the first thing is maybe I need an icon. So I will go and take this icon. We wanted this icon now. Fine. So Control C this, no problem. Go to the desktop. I wanted this guy. I paste it here. Fine. So the icon has appeared. Where is it? Control V. Okay. Okay. The icon is there. .ico. All right, that's the first thing. So another thing we need to keep in mind, please listen guys, we need to have an Excel file which we have to reference. Okay, and I will show you a couple of things here. This Excel file actually should not be opened. So for now, I will go here. I will just say, okay, fine, I need an Excel file. It shouldn't be open when I'm writing to it. Okay, so I'll come here. I'll say Excel. right? Now inside here, okay, look here, it is a new worksheet, right? Fine. So I will open a new worksheet and go and do file. I will say save as. Okay. Now what did we call it? We are saving this on the desktop, right? So we go to the desktop, we call it what? Form with Excel backup. Fine. Now you may call it something, maybe you call it form registration form, okay, .xsls. Okay, so by default, even if I take out this .xsls, I say form reg, forem. Okay, let me use that, this form array I wrote from form, or simply registration. Why should I make it difficult? Registration. Okay, fine. Okay, registration form, no problem. Now, oh sorry, where did I save this? I think it should be there. Okay, yes, it's here. So registration form.xsls. Okay, so for now this registration form has nothing. Okay, it's just empty. So we will talk from think that we actually have to talk to this guy. Okay, we have to talk to this guy. From there only we talk to this guy. Okay, so this is fine. We have it as a kind of a spreadsheet which can serve as a database for now, but this is not a database, guys. It's fine, everybody knows that, right? Okay, so we need to create a project and we need to ensure that they are in the same directory. So it's moving. Okay, okay, so we say from tkinter import okay star, and since it is a new file, actually you might need to have to configure your IDE, sorry, compiler. Okay, so this is there. Let's see from this import star. So next, what do? Create the root, the entry to the program. Fine is equal to tk. Okay, fine. Now after this is done, what do? We set the title, right? Root dot title. Now we call it something, say registration form. Oh my goodness. So we say registration form. Okay, now this is fine. So after that is done, or let's set some geometry, something like that. We say root dot some dimension, right? Geometry, maybe we agreed we can call it 600 by 500, no problem. So 600 is a string, right? So 600 into 500. Fine. And what do? Root dot main loop to keep it open, right? So that we see what we are, whatever is being printed on the window menu. No problem. Fine. So Control Shift F10, no worries. Now this has come, we have this. So next we need to change the icon. Okay, so let's go and change this icon. Now what did we do the other time? Do you remember, guys? So we called it what? Root dot icon bitmap, right? Okay, so after we finish importing this and we've created that, so let's make it easy. So I think I wanted to keep it this way. It doesn't really matter. Okay, root dot icon bitmap, and we've seen that. So what is the name of that icon? So it will be there. It's called textIcon.ico, right? So texteditor.ico, we say okay, it is called txt. Actually, once you start typing it, it should populate actually, but let's see, text is not populating. Editor.ico. Fine. Okay, so let's see if this works. Control Shift F10. Yeah, so we have finally changed this. Okay, so we now got this. So this is done. What do we do next? All right, so this is where it's going to become tricky now. Okay, we want to kind of create some forms, right, as you have seen in the previous case, and those forms you can definitely call them text boxes with what? Text boxes with what? Some entry widgets, right? Fine. So for that, I need to kind of maybe make this as a class. Okay, so there'll be a couple of things that we'll be writing here. Let me think properly. So here I'll start creating some label actually. Okay, so let me create some label and then I will call it something, and we start. Okay, so this will be there. Next this together and come here and let's say create some labels, right? Create some labels. LABELS, fine. Okay, so maybe this one I call it something like you call it for the heading. Okay, I'll say this will be what label. Okay, capital L, which goes inside the root first. Okay, and then the text has to be registration form. Okay, something like that. Registration form. We just create and then we see what happens. Okay, so and for now, afterwards we go and add some background color. Okay, let's make sure that that is actually working. So this label we have created for heading, we are going to do what now? So to make it faster, I'll copy paste. Okay, so we now think of what we want to put there. Okay, Control C, Control V, Control that, Control that, Control that. Okay, so heading is done. Let's say we wanted something that will hold the name, right? So we say student's name. Okay, std underscore name. Okay, so this goes inside that. So we say the text should say what? Enter student's name. Enter. Or I just say student's name. No need to enter student's name. We know, right? Or full name. Call it full name. Fine. Okay, and then maybe we needed something for maybe courses, something like that. Okay, so we say text should be course detail. Okay, of course. For now, let's take one. Afterwards, we can turn it into a drop down box or whatever where you can select the course. Okay, so maybe next one we can say maybe we are which semester, right? So we call for that, we call it SEM. We say here semester. Fine, semester. And then the next we say maybe something like that. We need a contact number, right? And then because obviously we needed something like that, so we say okay, contact number, contact number, something. Okay, sorry, we are forgetting important thing, right? Row number, no? Row number. So we say row number, row number. Fine. Okay, call it number, something like this. Fine. All right, so maybe we take email and then something, okay, and address. Let it make sense. So ID should paste, right? So I'll say this is called email, and then we say enter your email, and then residential address. Okay, I forgot gender, no problem. Okay, so for now, let's say here we say residential address, right? So we say residential address, residential address. Okay, so now you notice one thing, that even if, right, even if we do this, we are not going to see anything. Did you agree? Let's see. Where is it? Root.main loop. Fine. Control Shift F10, stop and rerun. Okay, so we didn't see anything, right? And we know why we are not seeing any stuff, right? So because of my grid method, right? So what I will say, okay, where do we want this to go actually? Dot grid. Okay, for now, in case if you want to see it, right? What we did before was use Spark. So let me just use Spark to add one or two, and then we change it back to grid, so you understand why we're actually using grid. Okay, so I believe that many of us, I know that many of us, have been busy with one or two things, and even the number of viewers also decreasing, but it's fine. All right, so at the end of the day, I don't know how they're going to catch up, but it's fine. So let's continue. So you see here, right, we have seen this registration form, right? But we wanted this to become formatted, so it will be having some fonts and stuff looking like that should be a title. Agreed. So, and this is what we got. So for us now to be able to play with what? The widgets, right? The entry widgets. So we need to kind of position this where it is, and then position the widget by the side. So that's why we are not going to use Spark method now. We are going to change it to grid. So we go back here and we say, okay, fine, dot grid. Now in this grid, okay, we say let this go into row 0. Let's start from there. Column. Okay. How do I want to put this? Okay. So what I wanted to do, I want to create this form in such a way that all should appear. Okay, yeah, let it appear by the side. So we say, okay, find row 0, column, okay, let's say column 1 for now. Okay, and then for the which one, the state name, okay, we've done that, and maybe heading should be entirely different. Okay, and then other ones should be different. So let heading be on column 0. Fine. So I'll copy this and then I keep populating. Okay, Control C, then change this now, Control V. Fine. So this becomes row 1. Fine. Okay, column 0, then this row 2, okay, something like that, column 0. Now, and you know why the column actually is fixed. You will see now. Let's just do something here, row 3, column 0. Let's show this and see if it is working. Now you see, right? But you see the problem here, registration form is towards this side. Agreed. So for now, let's think that there are n number of columns here actually, but there is only one row. So let's push this registration form out of this place now, and at the end of the day we now modify it. Okay, so we now say, okay, fine, let this guy go to maybe column 1. Sorry, column 1. Fine. Control Shift F10. It says stop and rerun. Obviously done. Okay, so okay, that is looks small also. Maybe I keep it at column 2, no problem. It's okay. At the end of the day we will go and modify it. Let's just see if we can be able to talk to the back end today, in the sense my Excel. Okay, sorry, it says, yeah, did it give an error? I want to see that. No problem. Okay, it's still there. So since I have not populated anything, even if I say, look here guys, even if I say column 6, it's not going to move actually, because other ones should correspond for us to push it to that area. I hope you got what I'm saying. Now look here. So do not show this in the future. Fine. Now you see, Control Shift F10, you see here, right? So even if I said column equals 6, it's not going to move, because it's like, see, the only thing I can do is just to shift one side. That's it. Unless you start populating this with entry widget, then only I will know where you want me to stay. So for now, this is fine. And then we paste. Okay, we paste. And I think that's it. Okay, for now. So what we do now, we keep say, okay, fine, this is there, and column, row 2, column, so row 3, so this becomes row 4, and that's row 5, and the last one we have row 6. Okay, so let's work with this basic thing. At the end of the day, we will go and what do you say? We will go and modify them. Okay, Control Shift F10. Ensure that everything is there. So this is fine. Now what do we need to do next, guys? So we have created some labels, right? Or say, okay, create required labels. Now what are we going to create next? We need to create what now? Entry text boxes, right? So it's better I put, please listen, two things I can do. I can create the entry text boxes separately, but it will also make sense, right, if I just create the entry text box here. Okay, agreed. So I wanted maybe if I put it here, okay, sorry, you might get confused later. Even also I might get confused later. So I'll copy this. Okay, fine. I'll go to next now. I say create the entry text boxes. Fine. Oh, sorry. Okay, create the entry text boxes. Fine. BOXEX. Fine. So we know definitely what he's going to do. We're going to accept some input from the user. Okay, so let's say we have how many of them? 6 of them, right? So with this name, heading, some what's it called, heading, student name, course, semester, right? And some stuff, right? So for the heading, please listen. For the heading, I'm not going to touch it because I don't need a text box for the heading. I hope you got the point. Okay, so let's go here. This heading, right, I don't need it. So what I need now is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? That is the name, the course, the semester, the roll number, the email, and the registration address. Fine. So to make it simple now, I will break this guy from here. Let's give a row from here. So maybe just add some stuff here so it becomes easy for you to know what you are doing. Okay, some blank line. And this is done. Then next, before we start creating this, okay, print, just like demarcate it. Okay, so it's making sense. Fine. Now this is fine. So here now I'm going to call it the first was called student's name, right? So maybe I'll call it name field, something like that, name underscore text box or field. Okay, so this name field will be something which I don't know. Fine. So we say a entry. Okay, see entry text box, right? entry. Fine. And where is it gonna go? It's gonna go inside the root. Fine. So we test this and see whether it's actually working. Control Shift F10. Where is that guy? Okay, where is it? Okay, okay, so it will be there, but we need to kind of bind this now. Okay, so remember, it will be there, but we need to say, okay, fine, we can say at the end of the day we say .grid or something and place it, but I'm going to show you another way we can actually use this. Okay, so we need to use a function because we want to check whether the text field is empty or not. Okay, so for now, let's just create all the text fields and then we go and populate them. So to keep it simple, I'm going to do this v dot and that 1 2 3 4 5 6. So that is the name field, so the rest has to go like that. The next is called what? Course same row number. Fine. So course, COURSE. Then the next is what? Same. Next is what? Roll number, role field. And the last is what? Your email, sorry, yes, name, course, same row number, email and address, right? Same role, email and address. Fine. Okay, so we have this address field, no problem. So now once this is done, so maybe you can actually add comments. Entry text boxes for what? User input. Okay, so this is done. We go and say, okay, fine. Next thing I need to now do what now? I need to kind of bind this to whatever it is doing. Okay, so there's a way actually to do this, because we need to check also whether the user is entering something valid or not, because we don't want to populate. Remember here, guys, we want whenever an action says submit button is clicked on, we want it to be submitted to where? Here, right? This guy, right? So for now this is empty. Okay, so we want it to be submitted here, so we should ensure that this person is not submitting an empty what information. Okay, so for that we try to start checking it from the onset. Okay, so let's see what happens here. Now I need I need to bind this. Okay, now bind your bind our text boxes to some action. Okay, bind to some action, or that action is what? Function, right? So whenever a function something happens, we should actually perform some action. Fine. Okay, so the first is called name field, right? So name underscore field. So now it's called bind, bind. So you see here. Okay, so let's look at what this bind does in tkinter. Okay, bind, actually method in tkinter. Fine. Actually it's almost same if you program even in JavaScript also. I believe it to be the same only. Okay, so you see binding functions. So we are binding a function. Okay, so it's like only this will happen when like an on event listener. Okay, so model that is widely used in desktop application. It comes along with this. Fine. And it provides a variety of widget classes and functions that will help you okay, with the help of what? Which one can make our GUI? Okay, so leave that. What do I need this for? It's not explained properly here. Okay, okay, the binding function is used to deal with events. So that's what we are trying to do. Okay, so we can bind Python's function and methods to an event, as well as we can bind these functions to particular widgets. So no worries. So if you look at example here, this is done, right? So look here. We have defined the event called what? Enter, the method called enter, right? So this enter, okay, whenever we call it, see, we say event.x, right? So button 2 pressed how many times? Once, twice, okay, and like that. So, and again, even exists also, okay. And now look at how we bind it. Okay, so you have to say this. Okay, so enter is the text which you want to call it. Okay, and then you say, okay, fine, enter, right? So fine. So now this is it, and this actually, see here, these lines are showing the working of the bind function. It is universal widget what? Method. So we got this now, so we say okay, fine. So when I'm binding this, that means for now I want to call it enter. Fine, I'll call it so I'll say okay, let it be return. Okay, so and then I'm going to call an event. Okay, so the first one can be enter, like they call it here. So follow some nomenclature, say okay, focus on something. Okay, so this is not there yet, no problem, we are going to define these methods later, okay, or these functions later. So this says now, okay, whenever the key is pressed, right, okay, so I want it to call this focus what whatever function, right? So that is enter, no doubt about it. So it will tell you that this is not done. Okay, fine. So this is fine. So I'm going to bind to all of them, right? So I'll copy this. It's going to look similar, and I'll say okay, find v 4 5 and 6. Fine. And you might notice something here, that we are beginning to get an error. Okay, yes, sorry, what's the error? Look here, guys, go back. So it's actually this way, not that way. Always pay attention to what you're actually doing. If you see in that example code, it was like this, right? See here, everything is in either you can use single or double quote also, it doesn't matter. So I'm okay with double quotes, I will use that. Fine. Okay, so no problem now, but obviously this method is not defined, so no worries. I take this, fine, paste here, paste there, paste there, paste there, and paste there. Fine. So we're going to keep return as an argument, and then we change this. Okay, wherever we want it to go, let it go there. Okay, and whenever a key is pressed, let it do some stuff, and we have to bind it to some methods. We have to call it, right? So we say okay, sorry, okay, that guy disappeared, no worries. So we say fine, 6. Okay, so this is fine. Now we now need to map it, right? The first one was to name field, next is going to be to course field and stuff like that. So this I'll say course, it should be there. And the third one is what? Same field, right? So actually if I type same here, it should go same. Then the next one is what? Role field, email and address. So we say role field, next email. Okay guys, even if we didn't complete this today, we have to continue tomorrow. Okay, so email field, and next is address. Fine. Okay, so for now you expect to obviously get an error, right? Control Shift F10, you get an error obviously, because it's telling you focus 1 is not defined, focus 2 is not defined, focus 3 is not defined. And you see how it goes, right? It will first of all start with focus 1. Okay, if it is there, it transfers the control to focus 2. So obviously it's telling you that this method or this function which you're actually trying to call, right, I don't know where it is. Fine, good. So before we kind of make this, actually let me try to first of all focus. Let's try to make these guys appear, please. Let's make course field and all these ones to appear, right, by using our grid method. Yes or no? So for that, what I can do, I can turn this into multi-line comments for now, so that I don't need to retype them again. Okay, fine. Okay, so if I now run this, this is fine. Control Shift F10, this is fine. So let's make our text boxes to appear first, so that we can see if we modify them. Okay, at least if we're able to do that, we have done something. Okay, so till this is fine, right? So the name field is fine. So what do? We say dot what? Grid. Okay, our grid method comes in handy now. Now you know this one should be attached to what? Student name. Agreed. So what is the position of student name? Row 1 column 0, right? Fine. So we have to, sorry, row 1 row 1 column 0, row 2 column 0, that's what we use, right? Yes, row. So this should go to row 1 column 0. So row 1 column 0. Okay, fine. So I think for now this should be fine. Okay, and let's see whether that will appear. Fine. So I have overwritten this guy, right? I have overwritten it. So I want it to appear at what? Row 1 column 1, not column 0. Okay, good. So row 1 column 1, Control Shift F10. So it's always good you run and then you check. Okay, yes. So you got the point, guys. Fine. So now you see this one, I don't need to say column equals 6 because I'm not spanning anything, right? So I can say column equal 1 for now. Control Shift F10. Okay, where is it? So let it be here. Okay, so at the end of the day we're going to bold this. Okay, so for now this is it. Okay, now since this happens, now what I will do to make it faster, I know I'm going to repeat a couple of things here. I will say, okay, fine, Control C this, Control V, paste it in all of them, right? V, Control V, Control V, Control V, and I think basically that is what it is for now. All right, so till here is fine. I said, okay, this is this and that is that. So this should be what, row 2, right? And the same column. Okay, so we change this. Only these ones we keep changing, and this becomes row 3, and that becomes row 4, and that becomes row 5, and this is row 6. Now let's see if it's there. Control Shift F10, and it should be there. Okay, sorry, it has appeared. Okay, so if you notice now, we can kind of increase this, right? We can kind of increase this. So for that, there is another attribute or another argument called what? iPad X, horizontally, right? So we say iPad yes, X only equal, okay, let's say maybe put some value. Let's see here, 80. Control Shift F10. Yeah, okay, you can see these guys. Okay, so you might also pad it vertically also, maybe like we say iPad Y, maybe like 2. Let's say iPad paddy paddy iPad Y equal maybe here I will say 5. Let's see. Okay, Control Shift F10, it should work. Okay, good. So you've seen, like, at least it has given some, it's a little bigger, right? Unlike this small one. So maybe we try making it 8. I think 8 should be fine. It's Control Shift F10, Control Shift F10. Good. So I think this is making sense, right, for now. Okay, or I think 5 is better, so I'll leave it at 5. No worries, 5. So I'm going to copy all these guys now. Okay, so I need this and I need that. Okay, you can change the background color and all whatnot later. Okay, so Control V, now there, Control V, now here, Control V, same thing, Control V, and the last one, Control V, Control Shift F10, and let's see the changes. Fine. So yeah, okay, good. So it's making little sense now, right? Okay, so this is fine. Now let's go and now define those methods, okay, and then bind them for now. Okay, so till there is fine. So I'm going to now go to the what now method. Okay, so I will uncomment these guys. I'll say fine. Sorry, when I mean method, I'm referring to functions. Actually, I'm not talking about inbuilt method. So usually, you know, right, we always define the functions here. Okay, certainly after the geometry or whatever we finish setting. So remember, we got a couple of things now, right? We said it's going to be something and something and something and something. All right, so let's go and see what those things will do now. Okay, so the first one we said is called focus, right? So we say function to set focus. Okay, to set focus or something like that. Okay, to bind, function to bind. That's what we call it. Okay, so the first one we call it what? Focus 1. We use 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 as the nomenclature. Fine. Okay, so it requires an argument. Okay, so let's stick to the default event argument. Fine. And then where do we want this to be? Okay, so the first goes to this we bound to what? Name field. Okay, course field and stuff. So this is to name field, 1 minute, student name. Okay, so we call it name field. So instead of me using this, right, to avoid confusion, right, guys, see, course, same, row number, stuff, same field, row number, email, address, course field. Okay, so let's, instead of saying student name, right, guys, let's call it name field here, so that we know, fine, we are referring to the same thing. STD name, again, name field. You got the point, guys? So instead of say, I can call it STD name field. Okay, no problem. So I can let it be. So I'm going to go back here, okay, and I'm going to call it to name field, name underscore field, fine, dot what, focus, focus. Okay, so here focus is called focus underscore set, fine. Okay, now let's look at what this guy actually does. Okay, let's look at what this focus underscore set does. Okay, so if you check here, you see here, I'll go back here. We know set method in tkinter, no problem. Okay, set in this. So what does this do? Actually, we have seen that. Let's see whether this is inbuilt. So yes, so you see here, okay, so focus underscore set tkinter and then focus underscore get. Okay, so what is the difference? So you see tkinter has a number of what inbuilt whatever. So this underscore set method is used to set the focus on the desired widget. So this is fine, so we don't need to define it. Okay, fine. So this is done, right? So what we do, we have to kind of replicate it for all the words, for all the what events, right? So I'm going to copy this from here, fine. So you can say function to bind, that is or set the cursor, or maybe set the focus on the cursor or something. Set the focus on the cursor. Okay, so you know what I mean by cursor now, your mouse pointer, fine. So this is done. I'm going to copy this guy out, Control C. Okay, so one thing I want to tell you guys, I will stop exactly at 8 p.m. okay, and this kind of be a kind of a mini project even for 5th sem students. So I will stop exactly at 8 and tomorrow we continue from wherever we stopped. Okay, so this is done, second one, third one is done. Okay, then fourth is also done, and then fifth is done, and then the last one, fine. Okay, so focus 1, focus 2, and then we should tell where it is going to focus 3. Let the argument you pass into it be the same thing. Okay, let it just be event argument only, no problem. Focus 4, 5, and 6. All right, so now the first one is on the name field, so the second one will be on what? Course field, sem field, role field. So I will go to course field. I should see it when I start typing. Okay, so course, okay, should be there. So instead of that, I can take this. It makes more sense now. So course field. Then the third is on what? Sem field, role field, and email field. Okay, sem field, role field, and email field. Sorry. Oh my god, I overrode this. So this should still be what? Name field, right? The first one is name field, the second is course field, okay, the third is, I think, sem field, right? Yeah, sem, role, email, and stuff. Okay, so sem, role field, then is email. Okay, that is email field. Okay, and then the last one should be address field. Okay, so just in case, I want to show you something here. Control Shift F10. Manu is my name. Okay, then the course is computer science, CSC. Then semester is like 4th sem. Okay, form number is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. You can even type to infinity also. Code number email ID manu at gmail.com, whatever. Okay, .com. Now address, say Mysore. Okay, now watch guys, once I click on submit, this is submitted. So we need to show, right, where this is gone, where has this gone actually. So come here, I called it from registration in tkinter here. Okay, it's called book 1, that was the name of that which I gave. Now open this guy. Did you see Manu CSC 4 1 2 3 4, something like this and that, right? So fine. Now this also was not created manually. Okay, 1 minute. The header also was not created manually. Okay, so this is what I want you to do, what we are going to build together. Okay, we build all these things together. So now let me tell you one thing. So there is a special package which we have to import to be able to link what tkinter with what Excel. So now say, okay, fine. First, very importantly, whatever we are doing, it will not just happen magically, right? So we say connect or link tkinter form, okay, to Excel sheet, Excel file. Okay, so Excel with this. Okay, let's see that function, writing this to that. Can you link Python to Excel? So this is what we are looking for. Okay, so Excel is a popular and powerful spreadsheet application for Windows. The open PY Excel models allow you to do this. Okay guys, so this is the model we are looking for. Now let's see whether this model, I have installed it. That's why I opened a new project. I should be able to kind of do this here. Okay, so I will clear this for now. Now we go back here. So you now say, okay, to connect, to link with what, or to link our app, okay, to Excel, to a spreadsheet, right? Excel Excel sheet. What do we have to do? We have to import something. Import below, whatever, blah blah blah. So that is called what? Open Excel, right? Yes, Excel. Okay, so we need to say from what? Open Excel, from Open Excel, import what? Import star. Now you need to resolve this. So it's an error. It says unresolved reference to this. Install package, open whatever. So let me show you another way to do this. So you come to terminal. Okay, your favorite command is pip install. So what do you have to do? You say open Excel. Okay, pip install open Excel. Yeah, that should work. Fine. So you just wait, and it's collecting, successfully installed. Very simple. Now I'm going to close this guy now. Okay, I'm going to close this. Okay, let it be there. Now, so you see it's gone, right? It's changed from whatever, the thing is not there again. So once this is done, now we need to now open. Now see here, it's not just connected yet. Okay, so just pay attention guys, exactly at it I will wind up. So this is installed, so we know that we are closer to it. But now we need to declare what we call a global variable, right? So we need to say, okay, fine, declare a global variable. So we can be referenced anywhere in the class, right? So fine, global variable to load the worksheet, right? To open we normally call it load the worksheet. Okay, to open the worksheet. Now we are referring to what? A single sheet, right? To Excel file, to open the Excel file. No worries. So we can call it what do you want us to call it? We say open Excel. Okay, open Excel file. Okay, so we need this actually. It's called load. Did you see that? Load workbook. Okay, so load workbook, we are assigning it to this variable called open Excel workbook. So let me call it owl then. Open Excel workbook, or open workbook load, or whatever, owl equals that. Fine. And then which one do we want to open actually? Sorry, what do we want to open? We need to open the what? The workbook, which should be in the same location, right? So that's why I told you, ensure that you have that saved in the same location. So if you come here now, we call it this guy. Okay, not this one actually. Is go to desktop. It's called form with Excel, right? So what's the name of it? Actually, it's called registration form.xsl, right? Registration form, camel case. Okay, not camel case, actually it's capital. So we go here now, we say okay, fine, it's called and you can actually see it there. Okay, actually it's looking at us by the side. Fine, so this is done. Okay, so after this is done, now we need to create the sheet object, right? So we have loaded this as if we are reading this file, reading into it, right? So we now say okay, fine, create the sheet object. Okay, object. Fine. So if you're going to create this now, it's okay, fine. We need to use the active method actually. So what was it? The variable or the reference to that, right? So dot active AC is there. Okay. So you can see there workbook. So now we need to store this, right? So maybe we call it in a store it in a reference variable called sheet. Fine. Say sheet. Done. So for now, okay, guys, we will do something which you have to remember. Look at this. Look at this. If you see here, sorry, I don't want to show this. Let me show the other one. So if you look here, let's open this sheet. You will see something because we need a reference to this variable. Okay. Look here, A, B, C. These are the references, right? We need to populate something here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we are not taking the header. So what are we going to take there? We need to put some stuff 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 there. We need to put the name, the course, the semester, the roll number, the email, and the address. Okay. So we'll continue from here tomorrow. All right, guys. So after we have set this active, okay. So next I will put here. So we continue from here tomorrow. Okay. So we say continue on Wednesday, Tuesday. Okay. So let's just recap what we have done, guys. So we started by first of all looking at a naive text editor. So for that, let me run this again. Look here, guys. So we not text editor, please. Control Shift F10. So we started by looking at this form. Okay. So if you see this form is so naive that even if I did not put anything, it's telling me form submitted successfully. Who wants to do that? Nobody, right? So you come here, you say, okay, whatever you typed inside here. Okay. Again, it's saying submitted, but I want to know where it's been submitted, right? Where did you submit this? Can you call this a project? No. Okay. So simple registration form. Can I just modify this, guys? Sorry, let's modify this, okay, so that it look like simple registration form and with bigger thing. So you go back there and you see like in the place, right? We just call this root, okay, and then we use only this, right? Font times Roman bold, right, in the label. So you can take this guy and put it to our stuff so that it's beginning to look like what we want to do. Okay. So we go back and that is here. Remember how we started? It's here, right? The header. Okay. So I'll say comma, Control V, fine. Control Shift F10. Okay. So the attribute called bind. So no problem, we are going to work on this tomorrow. So for now, this is taken care of. Okay. So this is what actually gave rise to what we started building. That as soon as I do this, right, even without taking anything only in the text field, is submitting. So we did not put title, we did not modify, we did not work on the what, on the icon. So this is done. And we wanted us to have a reference to whatever we are putting. Okay. So after putting it, sending in a Excel sheet, we can actually make analysis on that. Okay. Otherwise, we can save to database. So for now, let's work on the Excel sheet. And that was what led us to this. So what did we do in today's class? So we moved here. Okay. And we said, okay, fine. We called it what? Registration form. But prior to that, we first of all created what? A working directory, right? So in this working directory, what did we add? We added the icon file and we added a blank registration form.xsl. Okay. So after that, now we said, okay, fine, let's try to create the form, right? So we went ahead and then, we started with the new project. Okay. So the new project, we've seen all the basic stuff. We only bought a tkinter initially, and then we created the entry to it, added the map, title, and then set some dimension. And keep it open until we close it. Fine. After that, we went and we worked on what? The labels. And we positioned the labels where we want it to be. We separated it from the heading, no problem. And we've done this, and then we created the name fields. Okay. So, and then we have used this bind function now. And see, after we defined the functions, it's no longer highlighted in red. Now, these functions were called here, okay, using the bind method, and then we have set them, okay, to actually refer to that location which we are talking about. Now, lastly, we now installed this API that will enable us to read and write to Excel files from our Python code. Okay. And we loaded this, and then we said this thing are the state active. Okay. So tomorrow, what I want to do is we need a function that will be able to say, okay, when I submit this, when I call this event, I want you to go and position it in this place. Example. So look here, 1 2 3 4 5 6. We want it to be populated here, and we want the name to appear like whatever. So we need a reference to these columns, A, B, C, D, E, D, whatever, F. So I want to introduce you something we call column dimension. Remember now, the reference you are going to use will be sheet. Okay, so here we continue on Tuesday, that is this side. Okay, so here. Okay, and let's just do a little, only 1 minute study on column dimension. Okay, and then we wind up. So we say column dimension, COLUMN, and that's called dimension. See here, open by whatever. Okay, so what does this do actually? So you say here, maybe let's start with Stack Overflow questions, because I learned a lot from here actually. So it says here, I have a following script which converts this into that. Okay, fine, leave that. Let's go and see what it does. Okay, adjusting rows and columns of Excel using this. Okay, so you can set the height and width of that and this and attribute that control the height and width, a sheet dimension and whatever are dictionary key values. Okay, so in this case we can actually create this. We have read that, right, and we saved it here. And see, everybody tries to use an object to read, okay, and then to set the active whatever active. So I need to talk to this guy, right? So sheet.cell, which cell am I referring to? I can call it cell A or whatever and things like that, and then which value has to go inside the hello, okay, and everyone. And where am I going to save it? In this. So you watch here now, see here in the first cell, right? Look here. Okay, so the first cell, okay, which is, instead of saying row 1 column 1, guys, instead of saying row 1 column 1, I can actually say A and it will be a string. I hope you got my point. So I can say A and it will be a string, and that's it. Okay, so on this note, I want to thank you guys for listening, and sure, tomorrow we should be able to complete this and kind of now handle the exception in the next class. And on that note, yeah, I want to thank you guys for tuning in once again.